What the fuck was that damage, my guy? Oh!
I made the single highest DPS rogue in the game. This rogue does over 50 million damage every half second, and here's how I made it. Alright, so this is my max roll, and I'll leave it linked in the description so you guys can follow it there as well, but I'll get straight into it. So for our helmet, we want the exploiters aspect, and then for the skills, we want cooldown reduction, crowd control duration, dexterity, and then ranks to poison imbuement. For the chest plate, we're going to be running straight offense and do as much damage as possible. So we're doing physical damage, poison damage, cutthroat skill damage, and of course imbuement skill damage. And we're running the noxious ice on this. We're using these legendary gloves. For the pants, you can really do whatever you want. It's not going to really change your damage. I'm just running disobedience, dodge chance, damage reduction from poisoned enemies, dexterity, and then maximum life. We're running these legendary boots. For the crossbow, what we're looking for is vulnerable damage, core skill damage, damage over time, and dexterity. And then for the aspect, we want corruption on that. And then note on the gems for this, don't use emeralds, make sure you're using damage over time gems. For the dagger, we're using this legendary dagger for the lucky hit chance. For the sword, we're going to be using vulnerable damage, core skill damage, damage over time, and dexterity with the twisting blades aspect. For the rings, this is where you can kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm running just straight damage, so I'm doing physical damage, vuln damage, critical strike chance, and poison damage, as well as bursting venoms. But let's say you're not staggering the boss soon enough, you can change out poison or physical damage to lucky hit chance. And this ring is the exact same, except I'm running inner calm because for most of the fight you're going to be standing still. And then for the amulet, I'm running retribution, and then on that I'm running ranks to imbuement skills, weapon mastery, imbuement skill damage, and dexterity. You can switch those last two a little bit. If you don't want more dex or more imbuement skill damage, you can switch it to something different. Alright, so this is our skill tree. First, we're starting off with puncture, moving down to twisting blades, and then down to shadow step. We're putting one into shadow step, and then one into enhanced shadow step for the extra critical strike chance. We're maxing out our weapon mastery. As we move down, we want some into smoke grenade as well as poison trap, and then as well exploit and malice. And then for poison imbuement, we want that maxed out. And then we want to head into blended poison imbuement rather than the mixed poison imbuement, just because we have a high critical strike chance, and that'll do more damage over time. We're also rocking deadly venom. And then for the boots we have on, rigid finesse is very good. And then we have precision imbuement maxed out. These things, all they do is just increase your essence. We have the trap mastery for the extra CC, and then right here, I just had 2 extra. You can put them wherever you want, I just put them here. And for the final one, we're running the close quarters combat. So this is the Paragon board that I'm using. I took a lot of inspiration from a YouTuber called Vertigo and changed some aspects of it to make it more damage over time oriented. I'm not going to go over every single point I used, but rather the glyphs I used to increase my poisoning damage. I'm starting off with closer, as well as control and ambush. From there, I'm heading to efficiency, canny, and chip. Note, there is one glyph I'm not using that's very important to use. That glyph is called Bane. Bane will increase your poisoning damage, so if you can make room for that, please do, because that will increase your damage or your poison by a lot. Note, chip is also a very important thing to use as well. I don't know if it's a bug or not, but physical damage increases your poison damage by a lot. There's one last thing I would also note is to stay away from imbued skill damage, as that does not increase your poison damage. I found it in this corner on the Eldritch Bounty, as well as this one, so stay away from those. So that's it for the build. I understand that the Paragon board has a lot of room for improvement, especially adding the Bane glyph. That is very important. So if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. And also there's a forum that I've been getting a lot of this information from. I'll leave that linked in the description as well. Note that this build is only good for Uber Lilith, so don't build this build thinking you're going to run through high tier nightmare dungeons, because you will get wiped. But it is really, really good for killing Uber Lilith quickly, and even carrying your friends through it as well. Thank you. Bye.